Gomez, John Guerrero, and Councilwoman Castillo. Tonight we'll open up with invocation, as is customary at Floresville City Hall. And I'm going to ask Lou Rosenberg to lead us in prayer.
Our Father, be with us tonight as we deliberate. You guided the folks out of Egyptian bondage. They were reluctant followers. You argued with them for 40 years. They finally crossed the Jordan. And they finally did your word and your deed. We ask that we might not be so reluctant. We might be better listeners. We might be better followers. We ask that we remember with humility the jobs and the duties and responsibilities we have. Forgive us our sins and be with us tonight as we proceed in the public's business. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Council, we have minutes from May 10th in our packet. Take a moment to review that. And while we're reviewing the minutes, I'm going to ask for citizens' input. Mr. Miller has signed up to give us input regarding the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm curious what the minutes say. I mean, it's not typical that they get read here, but I would like the portion read when it talks about what was voted on as far as the certificates of obligation. I read on your Facebook page on May 13th that the City Council has voted to renovate our river park, which includes redoing bathrooms, the old pavilion, and probably demolishing the concession stand. I was at that meeting. I don't remember that being part of the vote. I would like that read, please. The minutes that talk about what was voted on.
If you're referring to item 3A,
Yes, sir.
Councilman Morones made a motion to against approving a resolution by City Council of the City of Floresville authorizing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation complying with requirements contained in the Securities and Exchange Commission Rule 15C2.12 and providing an effective date. Councilman Guerrero, second. Motion failed.
Okay, what then did pass? I believe it's the next vote that occurred on that agenda item.
Okay, Councilman Gomez made the motion to approve the resolution, the same resolution. Councilwoman Castillo second. The motion carried 3-2. Councilman Morones and Guerrero voted against.
And the resolution was to publish notice of the intention to issue
certificates of obligation, yes.
It wasn't a vote to renovate the river park then.
No, the funding would be used for that.
But that's not what was voted on. It was discussed. It didn't say that in the motion.
These are the motions, these are the minutes we're approving.
Okay, well, what's
That's what I put on Facebook.
But that's a public forum that you put to the citizens of this community.
That's my personal account. What we're spending some money on would be to renovate the park.
So, that wasn't in the vote, though.
You didn't say that on the vote, that would have a different vote there if that was the case.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Castillo, second by Gomez to approve the minutes from May 10th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Minutes from May 16th, Council, it's in your packet. Mr. Miller, you want to make some comments regarding May 16th also?
Yes, sir. Specifically, when it came to the duties assigned to the city manager, I asked the question at that meeting if there were timelines associated with it. You answered me that yes, there would be timelines, that there would be quarterly reporting. I would like to know what the meeting minutes say about those assignments to the city manager and if those timelines are included in the minutes. question at that city council meeting, should those minutes be amended to include those quarterly reporting requirements?
Normally, I guess when you direct someone to do a certain job, you want to set a time limit. What quarterly reporting are we talking about?
Well, let me interrupt, sir. The only timeline that was mentioned in the discussion was June the 1st, and that's part of the minutes. That's the only thing we're approving tonight is actually the minutes, not any other discussion that happened during our session.
I disagree, Mr. Mayor. I asked specifically before the vote on that action if there were timelines attached. Your answer to me in the city council meeting
Was June 1st.
is that there would be quarterly reporting requirements.
That was not part of the motion that was made by Councilman Guerrero.
But before the vote, you assured me that there would be quarterly.
Jay, what we're approving is the minutes as discussed by the council here. These are the minutes that were entered. That's the discussion.
But you're asking for an amendment to include a timeline.
That's what I was assured at the meeting before the vote occurred, that motion, that those assignments to the city manager included timelines. I asked that question specifically at the council meeting, was assured by you, Mr. Mayor, that they were. If the meeting minutes do not reflect that, then how can we hold the city manager accountable to those timelines?
Council, what we're voting on here, are the minutes correct or not? Okay, make a motion to that effect.
I make the motion to approve the minutes for May 16, 2012 special meeting, please.
Motion by Gomez, second by Castillo, to approve the minutes from May 16th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Motion carries 3-1. Next item is a presentation from Heartland Recreation for renovating and adding additional athletic fields. Heartland Recreation is by board approved.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Spencer?
I would like to table this presentation.
Thank you. Go ahead with the presentation.
There's a motion on the floor.
Motion to table, second by Gomez. All in favor say aye.
Mr. Mayor?
All opposed?
No, it's public input.
This is a discussion item, sir.
You're voting on it.
Anytime we vote, we have to.
This is there's no action item here. There's no action, it's a presentation.
Why are we seeing something when a petition is filed? And I don't feel that this would be as necessary at this time until the voters have their right to say when their tax dollars or whether tax dollars can be used for.
Mr. Mayor, the motion to table is a preferential motion, it's not subject to discussion, it needs to be voted up and down.
There is a motion to table, second by Guerrero. Corones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
I break the tie. Let's go ahead with the presentation.
Well, I'm still happy to be here. Mayor and council, my name is Mike Spencer. I live in White Oak, Texas. I'm a partner with Heartland Park and Recreation. We are a multifaceted company based here in Texas. We're involved in assisting small towns in ground routing, design work. We distribute park and playground equipment all over. We represent about 80 manufacturers nationwide. And we're involved in the park and playground business. About 99% of our business is with governments, whether it be school districts or cities. First of all, let me kind of go over how we met and got started and how we proceeded forward. There's an organization called Texas Municipal League, which is the League of Cities in Texas, and we're a corporate member, and we're an exhibitor, and we're there as a member and exhibitor at that booth. And this is where all the city managers and mayors go for continuing education, and council members attend. And we're an exhibitor with a large booth there, and we met city manager, as we do a lot of our customers, and the mayor. We had some discussions about taking place, which are exciting. I'm an ex-council member myself. I served multi-term at Flower Mound, Texas, north of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. So I kind of understand y'all's side of it. I'm an industry person. And there are a few things that we were doing in discussions that, one thing I think it's important for mayor and council to understand, everyone here, is that Heartland Park and Recreation every year donates, that's the key word, donates, design, grant writing, and consulting services to a number of small cities across Texas. We have a track record of doing that. We're not here being paid. We're not here under a contract. We were here because these folks had a need, they had a vision. It interested us. My sales reps who service this area came down and visited with some folks, visited the site. They invited me to come down, which I did, and that kind of leads us where we are. So I come from a small town. We're a town of about 4,000 or 5,000 people ourselves, and some of the things that we have discussed and looked at is that there's a dynamic change in park business anymore. Right now, with the price of gasoline and vacationing, there's more and more pressure we're seeing across the 7-state area that we service. And people can't afford to go on vacation. They're putting more pressure on parks. They're utilizing the parks more. And it's commendable here to see the amenities y'all have downtown. We just did a parking place. We tried to eat lunch. I wish every little town was that way. So y'all are doing some things right. I visited your park. I saw the convention center, which I think is underway. It's a beautiful facility. I visited the big oak tree. Got some of the history and flavor of Floresville. It's certainly been entertaining. What we did was go and kind of take an assessment. We looked at the existing facilities that you have. We looked at some of the erosion issues that are in the main big field. We looked at the shortness of the other field. The fact that that area has a history of flooding during high rains coming off the river, and the concession stand, I think, has flooded a number of times. The other thing was is that in my town, I'm a grandpa, and I come from a long line of farmers and ranchers here in Texas, and my grandkids play Little League, and so just as my kids do when they were little, and I know that that's a growing group of people, and it's something that's good. And like a lot of towns, they're looking for how can we have the tournaments, how can we draw more people, how can we utilize our park and recreation as an economic development tool. Most of your economic development dollars, your EDC dollars across Texas right now, with all the cities we work with, are actually looking and contributing more and more to parks as a form of economic development. The folks that live in San Antonio, I was a banker in Dallas once upon a time, and when I lived in the big city, and I remember when I moved to the country, the difference, the quality of life. And y'all offer a quality of life here, and I think that the vision that I heard was, I'm not politically taking any sides here, but the vision I heard was that they wanted to build something more for the young families to continue the growth and movement of this town in a direction to where it's attractive to young families living in San Antonio and surrounding areas to come here and say, Floresville has things going on. I come from a town, White Oak, that does that. And we're a town that was oil spotting on the road. We're ugly. We have nothing we have pump jacks in every yard. But they made a real commitment. We're a community surrounded by a school, and we're a community surrounded by pride and a community and our park system. And we put the time in. So it's proven to work. I think in talking with that, you can Google up athletic complexes, how they look and how they do. Right now, we're working with a number of cities throughout Texas on some of the projects they want. And I'm going to show you guys a few pictures. I'm not here to do it. But this is the park in Gladewater, Texas, up by my hometown, if y'all ever familiar with East Texas. And Gladewater, Texas, a town about 5,000 to 6,000. It's the antique capital of Texas. And it's a pretty little town. Every downtown store and shop is filled up, but they have had a constant complaint about their ball fields. And we'll quote this thing. This is one, on the pictures here, it doesn't look real bad, but I met with the city manager. I spoke at the Lions Club, and they invited me over, and the city, the economic development, secured some land next door. The problem with this facility here is that they've been told by the Dixie League, which is the Little League Association we deal with in East Texas, the Little League,
they'll never host any tournaments at this site. And, you know, this site is all the kids, all the moms and all the dads that play softball and play baseball that go there, it's in there. And so they're moving towards saying, well, we need to invest and move this forward. This is important to them, and it certainly is. Currently, we went and met with them. They've got I believe it's a 90-acre site west of town, and it's one of our donation cities. We're going to do a little work for them, preliminary work, and try to do some site plans, see what they can do, and do some preliminary budgets, and kind of see how they can move. David, move on next slide. Also, in the neighboring town, our big town, Longview, Texas, which y'all may be familiar with that. Longview, Texas, a few years ago made a big commitment. Of course, they're a bigger city, 80,000 people, really apples and oranges. But at any rate, they went in. My group we were involved in this project, and this is a project to where these are the type of fields and the type of complex that you can draw the tournament play. You can bring in the out-of-town teams. They come in, they eat at your restaurants, they stay at your hotels, they stay. They generally last weekends, and there is an economic upswing. I think that's pretty much a proven fact. They're nice. They're well done. You can do overkill. Certainly can. I think that every city ought to work within their structure and work with something together with the community they can afford to do. So this is an example of a city who had dilapidated once upon a time, and they spent the money to go up. Now they're filled with tournaments. That grandson I was telling you about was an all-star this last year and won the 11-year-old state tournament, first time in our town that we ever had a state win in Little League, and we were awful proud of that. And the tournament was some of the tournaments that played here at Lear Park. This was a $14 million project. It was huge. It covered everything, lots of other things athletically other than just this. All right, David, move on. What we've done here is over behind the convention center, and I've looked at your existing facilities like we talked about. We have some erosion. We talked about, look, we have an investment in that area down there, and I think we haven't really gotten to it. I kind of give you all an update as to where we are, but what we did is we looked at the potential new site, and it was really meeting needs, and that would be a combination soccer football fields. It would be 13 and 14-year-old Little League baseball play, 2 fields of Little League play of what we call 12 and under, and then girls softball, which we have 2 fields of girls softball. You know, like the big oak tree that's just huge over on the one side of the convention center, civic center there, there's also another one that's right there in the center. So I did some preliminary just layout designs, looking at what would fit in there, and did a layout kind of with a plaza that comes in, and then side of a central market area with shade structures, matching the stone, doing the pillars like with things. So, you know, this is kind of where we are right now. Now, where this one is, we received a topographical survey here recently from the city on the project, and our engineers, civil engineers, are actually doing a site plan and a topo, and we're just now in the process, Mayor and Council, of putting budgets together on this project. Right now, we're talking about, for presentation purposes, concepts of what you can have and how you can work with it. So, in this particular design, you see the rodeo arena in the back. I think that's a great asset. You know, whether or not, if you're going to have tournaments, not that you want to do it, I put it in my own free thinking. You know, if you had an RV park within there, because when these people come in from out of town, the concession do it. So that's a concept plan, is what we laid out. The 2 rectangular boxes up on the top side are combination football soccer fields. That's one of the things. Now, these tournaments are revenue generators, like I said, sales tax, increased sales tax and generation. I think there's the Texas Municipal League has proven statistics about people who commit themselves to parks and these tournaments and the revenue. I'm not going to go through that dissertation, but I think it's very important to the economic benefit and the statement that a park makes to the city. I want to show you guys a few other things that we're talking about conceptually, and I think a lot of people, this is a park we just completed in White House, Texas, the suburb of Tyler. This is a pavilion we built, and we did stonework similar to the mission stone on the thing there, the pillars on that. This is a small concession stand. I want to tell you about what this is. This is kind of a little concept we came up with. You know, towns are spending money or borrowing money or whatever the
something that I came up with a couple of small towns in East Texas, and it's called the Paper Play Park. And this is the one in White House, and you can see a splash pad, and that's full of kids. We took it just the other day. These are things to where the city builds it. There's no lifeguard requirement. There's really no liability because there's no standing water. And then the city runs a little concession. They charge $3 a head for people to get in. If you're a resident, if you're a non-resident, they charge you more. And the difference is that in my little town of White Oak, before about 4,500 people, in the first month we turned paper play, we generated $6,000 at the gate. In addition to that, the park closes at 6 p.m. every night, and we're able to rent the shade structures, the shade covers, for birthday parties, for private. So you can actually rent the splash pad for a private party, and for that. And that was overwhelmingly accepted by them. They're looking at generating about $130,000 a year in net revenue. That's a net revenue that's going to pay for maintenance and operation. What it is, it's paying your way as you go. It's something that is kind of foreign. These conversations, and in all fairness to the mayor, and I know that there's people I've been in council, I used to tell everybody that half the people are going to be angry all the time. You can't make everybody happy. Some people in my town were against any growth at all. Some people were against growth, but growth that somebody else paid for. So you have various factions, various people and opinions. What I presented not only to the mayor in a discussion, and that's where we've come to, is looking at some of the things like this to enhance that park that can generate revenue. We know that tournament-style ball fields will generate revenue, not only fees and the association. It's a good thing for the community. It's a good thing for the region. But also, this is something within the park that generates real hard dollar, low operation, low cost on the front end, and do it. And we have cities that will have, we've passed on information where they can talk about it. They'll share their numbers and how they do it. So this is one thing we kind of have planned if the city ever does do a new park, is to incorporate more than these. Another thing that I want to point out is that, we build parks all the time and have for the last 50 years for everybody under 12 years of age. Well, I'm old and I need some park too. And so what we found too is that Texas Parks and Wildlife has a grant program right now, which is an 80-20 split. The city only has to pay 20%, and it's for a hike, bike, and fitness trail. And it could be anywhere within the city, and we are also, grant writing is an expensive proposition. Most of it's front end. And as I told you guys, we're donating this to the citizen and to mayor and council. Another thing is when you're looking at grants through either Texas Parks and Wildlife or through the grant program, through the things, there are people that are running around out there in the world that are saying, I'll write your grant, but you need to pay me X number of dollars. Generally, it's always up front. The traditional method is if I want to build a park and I'm a city, I got to go pay a whole bunch of front-loaded front-end fees for design work and all that. And what we're done, and we do it, and we're a blessed company. And the reason we donate back is because we've been fortunate, and we have no problem in helping some of that. So we talked about some of the grants, some of the things we can get assistance on that to give fitness systems and a trail system for so we have parks now we can design for people that are 2 years of age and 102 years of age so that we can promote recreation and health in the community. And for affordable, as you incorporate the play. This is my town, White Oak. I'm very proud of it. White Oak is literally the ugliest community on the planet. Now, I love it, but if you've ever been to an oil field town, I'm talking about old oil field, not new oil field, not the new Eagle Shell, what you guys have here in natural gas. That's old oil field towns like Kilgore, where oil was originally discovered out in East Texas. And, I have 3 pump jacks on my property. It goes there. I wish they were all mine, but they're not. You can see them in the sidelines, tank batteries, everything. And I remember when I was doing this, and the city manager there, he hated to spend money worse than anything in the world. And he said, Spencer, you want to build all this pretty stuff. And he said, if you build it pretty, they're going to tear it up. Well, historically, I have found just the opposite. That when we design beautiful parks that meet all age groups, that we have found that the kids and everyone in the community respect and appreciate having it. This is probably one of the most heavily landscaped parks you'll ever see, other than if you go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Woodward Park, or some of the ones in Austin, what have you.
But here's a playground. This is their pay-for-play park here. This is just one of the shots here through the many roses that we have. They have their pay-for-play park in there. They're generating good revenue. This year they built a concession stand, and they sold $300 worth of snow cones the first day they opened up. Now, a snow cone doesn't cost you much, but here's the thing. I told the cities, and when I talk to them, and I go through everybody, I said, look, we got to start thinking a little bit like capitalists. That's what we have to do. We've got to start building things that pay for themselves. And I think that the mayor and everyone that knows, every city I've ever helped knows that I promote that. And those are the things that I think it is. I support athletics. I support your new park. I know there's going to be controversy. There's going to be people at all ends of the spectrum. But I do think that there are things that if you're looking at doing it, is make smart decisions. Make decisions that will generate revenue, that will offset and generate its own maintenance and operation costs. Don't take my word for it. Take the city managers and mayors of other towns who are already doing it. That's where you kind of go with it. And so I'm a firm believer that parks are the signature of a city. And we love what we do. We appreciate the opportunity to work with the council, the manager, and everyone here. And we look forward to moving forward, bringing up new concepts and ideas, and hope that the overall community and everyone can see that the renovations to the old park, some of the stonework, beautification. I'm not talking about, nobody's tearing, I don't know what's going to be torn down or what isn't going to be torn down at this juncture, but I can tell you that make everything safe, make everything usable. One of the ideas I had for the old park was to take the three best fields, renovate them up, raise the fence, move the fence in at the erosion area for safety, and then move that into an adult co-ed softball that attracts church leagues and other co-ed softballs. Put a nice playground in there for the kids, renovate one of the pavilions and the restroom that's a little bit there. What I'm saying, let's do what we can afford to do and then pay for them to go there. I want to show you some of these. These are some of the parks and things that I've done in the past in design work. This is called Les Bonbons in Lafayette, Louisiana. I do a lot of lake and fountain work, and I just want to kind of present this to you because whether it's private or it's for a city, I like building beautiful. I do a lot of waterfalls. This is a Walmart, where Walmart's, all of Walmart's, it's called Village on the Creek in Rogers Bentonville. This was an old stagnant pond that they had trouble with, and right now it's crystal clear, got waterfalls and running, and it's a park-like setting that's got a hike, bike, and fitness. So making something beautiful, making it work, and we got no vandalism problems, this, that, and the other. It rolls down. You can scroll through it. Okay, you're going up. I wanted to scroll down here. The other one that I mentioned is Buckner Westminster, which is a Southern Baptist Convention retirement center up in our town. They have lake problems. I do a lot of lake work. I want to show you the Tulsa Garden Center was probably the most fun. It's called the Linnaeus Teaching Garden, and none of this existed. This was actually all man-made. And this is a koi fish pond that's rather large, waterfalls, landscaping. They have their education program. In White Oak, Texas, we're currently doing a nature center with some old creek bottom land that we're working with the school district on creating an entire curriculum program for balanced ecosystems, for learning about nature, identification of trees, and those kind of things. And we just donated a $50,000 water feature to that project that goes through that. And so these kind of things here that are strolling through are kind of my love doing things. But like I said, I think that that's us around the course. Didn't mean to do that. But we appreciate the opportunity, Mayor and Council. If you guys have any questions, I wanted everyone to know that's where we are. We're in the design concept phase. We're not here trying to move anybody in the direction they certainly don't want to go. We're here because we were asked to be here. And we're proud to be here. We look forward to working with anybody on the development design to design and build something here that not only the town can do, but also something the town can be proud of and the citizens can as well. So,
Mr. President, if you don't mind, I'll open up discussion for the council. Any questions, council? Any comments?
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm proud to be here.
And,
Always good to come to it.
We did this free
Yes.
presentation. I wish you would have been here a few months earlier. It would have been $9,000
stuck with that dream, and she got turned down everything, and we stuck with her. And 5 years later, she was able to get a grant from Texas Parks and Wildlife, was able to get the community to raise that money, and we're completing a $750,000 park project with all the amenities that the citizens want. So we're here for the long haul. We don't need a paycheck next week. We don't need it next year. But I wanted people to know that we're not here as a traditional, we design traditionally. I do not donate to parks in San Antonio. I don't offer them it's at all. But little towns like you guys, we kind of have a limit. I can only do so many a year. And like I said, we're here because we met the mayor and the manager, and they spent time in our booth, and we just seem to like each other and get along, and they seem to have a vision, and so we volunteered and donated our services. So we're proud to do it.
How much money does it take to maintain a sports complex like the one you want to build?
You know,
Employees and running everything.
well, you know, there are a lot of variables in that. I'm not in the park maintenance business, so I mean, I'm a park design builder. You know, but let me tell you, yeah, there are, you know, we can obtain, you know, that information is easy to obtain. I'm just not the one that probably can answer that with a firm position on that I'm right. But, you know, neighboring cities that have done this, we can share with the council and the mayor other towns who have made these investments, and they can certainly go over their operating costs and generally, it's like the splash pad, the pay-for-play park. You know, we've got a town that's added an RC car park to their pay-for-play. In other words, I did not realize that there are people out there, full-grown adults, that are spending $3,000 or $4,000 on those little remote control cars. And it's a big father-son, mother-daughter type thing. And the city is looking at doing that. I have cities looking at putting putt-putt golf courses in their pay-for-play park to generate revenue to offset these kind of costs. Because right now, most cities build big facilities, the association gets all the revenue off the concession stand, and the city has to maintain and pay the light bill. That's what currently goes on. Is that what everyone needs to be doing? I don't think so. I think you got to look at the way that you handle your revenue on your concessions, the way you look at your cost analysis on your expenditures. As a retired banker, I understand numbers a little bit, and if the numbers don't work, you need to figure out a way to make them work. That's why I think supplementing the park with some of the pay-for-play amenities and those kind of things that you're working towards at least break even, but the good news would be to go beyond break even to where those revenues, the little town of White House I showed you, they spent $220,000 on that pay-for-play park with the pavilion, the whole thing turnkey. And they feel like they're going to have that paid for in 2 years, and then they're going to put that $175,000 in the city coffer and reinvest it in parks or other communities they want. They can use the lower tax rate. So, you know, I can't ever be against things that are going to generate money. And like I told them, you need to take that money and pay all your park expense and become where it's not on ad valorem taxes. We can't keep putting the burden on property taxes.
How many sports complex have you built the city or side?
You know, we've got one going right now, and you know, we built ball fields all over. As far as the large complex, we're doing one right now for seven-field project in the city of White Settlement. We're just starting out. We're building a park right now for the city of Gun Barrel City. We've done ball fields in Lexington over here, close. I think they're relatively close to you guys, in Lexington, Texas. You know, we can certainly send all that over to the city. I think
So,
all around.
and these fields were built, then I want the kids that are here locally, would they be able to play on these fields?
Do what now, sir?
Would they be able to play or practice or do anything on these fields?
Well, you mean as far as how those fields are managed?
Yeah, we build it, are our kids in the city gonna be able to use it?
Oh, yeah.
Or just
You know, they're owned by the city. We don't have anything to do with that. Yeah, but historically, you're talking about after hours or between times that they're playing games. Most towns have some free play on all of their ball fields. Yeah, that's a decision that the staff and the city makes. That's probably not in my realm.
See, I have nothing against doing, like, helping your
why I make some calls or whatever, I'll search whatever I have to do to see what it takes to maintain, you know. We've had these fields here, and, yeah, the city workers are trying to maintain it, but we couldn't take care of what we had. And they're gonna take a high dollar to maintain this.
Well, it's all how you approach it, but yes, I mean, everything.
And to me, it's more, how many employees, what are they gonna take? This presentation, I mean, it's nice, but it still doesn't tell me money-wise. And that's what the people are concerned about, the money.
Yeah, until we have some idea, you know, everything starts from below the ground and works its way up. In other words, you've got a pasture over there and a green, and that pasture is not perfectly level, and the ball field is laser graded to an intent. And so one of the first things is our civil engineer right now, for us, no cost to the city, is doing what they call a takeoff. We're doing an analysis of that site to see how much cut and fill and how much dirt work has to be done. That equates to a dollar figure. So we're putting together the numbers. I can guarantee you that those kind of things are moving forward in the process. But I was here to share with you guys what we're doing conceptually and the ideas that we're going to bring to the table about how you can offset your maintenance costs and other things.
Well, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Appreciate what the citizens.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate the question. Thank you. Anything else?
Anything else, Fulton?
Yeah, just want to thank you for the presentation, first of all, but I do have some questions.
Sure.
I know that when we decided to move on and kind of look at the opportunities we're going to have for this park, I know that one of the things we're looking at is to make some type of monies out of it. So we looked at the splash pad.
before you ever made the final move, that you need to have a complete maintenance plan for every park in the city. You have to have a complete, everything on real dollars in real time, and that is not hard to find anywhere out there in the market. I haven't been asked to do that, but you know what? I got no problem doing it. I don't think that there's one person up there on that council that doesn't have their heart in the right place. You may not agree, the citizens out here might agree with it, but here's the thing. Let's, if I could just be East Texas guy that doesn't live down here and certainly understand some of the issues here because I've been in this thing, is let's try to see what we can do, and let's be responsible stewards of the money, and let's see how we can get something that benefits this community. And you know, if it all comes out, that's not going to work. Then don't do it. You know, I may go down this pike a year with you guys, and you never spend a penny, but I'm proud to have been here. I don't mind that.
Let me just add something to what Mr. Gomez said about the FEDC. This will be paying $125,000 for 20 years. They can't guarantee that. So what happens if they can't make the payment? It falls on the city.
Right now, they owe the city,
It falls
they
on
owe
the
the
city.
school, they owe, and they didn't pay them.
By going back, it falls back on the city, and the city.
I think, I can't get the bank out of me. That's a legitimate question. Certainly, I have no knowledge of that. I think you're entitled to do that. I think you really should.
I think the citizens need to know.
You know, that's something you need to look at. You need to make sure that commitment's there. Now, understand that there are people, and I'm one of them, okay? I have to admit that. But I believe great things can happen. And I believe that if you start a path of conservative fiscal responsibility, making good decisions, and then you start putting things in place, Mayor and Council, that you will generate the revenue. You will generate the interest. People will want to move to your town, and that's dollars in the coffer, and EDC will be able to pay for this and many other more. If you all go to fighting and faction and go to a no-growth mode and just do the bare minimum, everything, then they probably won't. So, you know, it's kind of it's a paradigm for every city, every town in the world. This is where we are. Where do we want to be in 5 and 10 years? And you need to plan. You need to financially plan that far in advance. If you take the time to plan, it don't work. It don't work taking it like it comes. And like I said, I don't know anything. I'm just talking from the heart here of what I think. And I know that you guys have there are issues about anything. There's always issues about spending money. I'm tired of this happening. I hate spending money. I hate it. It's horrible. But the point is if you make good decisions on how you spend your money, and this may be one of them or it may not. I believe it is because I've seen when it's done for other communities. I think, though, you have to address maintenance and operation. You've got to address the debt picture. You've got to address EDC's ability to put forth, to uphold their commitments. You've got to make sure that's solid in the ground. I think you can do that. I think every question you pose here can be answered. Then it gets down to what do the people want? Do all the moms and dads out here want a new car? Do the moms and dads want a car they can pay like? You know, do they want a splash pad that they can generate revenue from? You know, that's a key thing. You know, then I think I like citizen surveys. I really do. I like to put them out. I work with towns turn a bad deal, I'm out of business in about 15 minutes, because you guys are a big returner. So I gotta fly right, and what I say is gotta be done. But, you know, we all as a group, and everything that you guys are going after here is all a good thing. And I don't want to take any more of your time. I know moves on and move on. But, you know, we're here to do whatever we can. We'll work with local contractors. But if they don't pay their bill, if I'm working with a concrete contractor, I generally like to pay the concrete plant. I don't want mechanics lien filing to come back because somebody didn't pay their help or pay their bill. I'm going to have to pay it twice. And if I'm your guy, I'm going to take very, very seriously the fact that I am there at your pleasure and I'm there to represent that the business is going to be handled properly because I'm going to be the liable party in this matter. And I've never been sued. And I want to keep that. I never had that problem. So, you know, there are issues with it. Certainly we want to open it up. Certainly we want to use as many people as we can. Certainly we want a lot of in-kind contribution with a lot of volunteers. We want the community behind the process that ever taking place, and we want their involvement in everything that's taking place out there with us. That's another thing. We want every step of the way for everyone to have some input, and for you guys to do it.
Well, I think everybody in the room is in agreement that we need to do something about our parks. And we just need to find a way to come together and make that happen. Anything else to add? Any other comments?
Thank you all. We're going to go enjoy the hill country for the evening.
Thank
Well, we
you
head
very
back
much.
to God's country. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And then you'll head back to Oklahoma?
No. We're spending the night here, and then I go back to East Texas. They live in Oklahoma.
All right.
Thank y'all very much. Good talking.
I apologize. Earlier, during the invocation, I did notice that Mr. Travieso was in the audience, and we had asked him to be here for the invocation. David, you want to say a few words?
Just thank God for the opportunity to be here. I know the gentleman opened up in prayer. But David Travieso, ministerial-wise, ambassador through Christ, reconciling people back to the Father. So that's my ministerial alliance type, Ambassador Travieso. So it was just to open up in prayer that I was asked here this evening. It's not to ask something that God's already doing because He's here. A lot of people ask that He be in our presence and that He moves with us. And that's not the question that's being posed or the prayer that needs to be uplifted. It's that we knowing that God is everywhere. He knows all, hears all, sees all, and He does everything. He gives everything that pertains to life and godliness to His people. And as the representatives of the city, the question that would be posed or a prayer lifted up is that their hearts and their minds be open up to the Holy Spirit's guidance. Because without His guidance, there are a lot of things that we can't accomplish. So through the representatives here, as well as the representatives of everybody else and the citizens here, that this is all that we ask for. That we thank God for His presence and for what He's doing for us. We can't ask Him to be where He is already. Or we can't ask Him to do what He's not already doing for us. It is for us to open up our hearts and our minds to that which He wants to do through us. And that way we, as they were talking here this evening, this gentleman, that without that opening of our mind and our spirit, that we cannot be that true representative that He's called us to be. And that we can't have that continuous growth, not only for the city, as I hear here this evening, but for the citizens that live within it. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes out that, what we're doing to draw other stuff into this city. But what about the citizens in it? So here, as the representative of the city of Floresville, we look forward to that growth, and we thank God for the opportunity to have that stewardship which we have, and that we can utilize it right in His sight, and knowing that He knows all, hears all, sees all, and is going to judge all. And that's the prayer that's lifted up here. Also, along with what was shared earlier, that we can all have that openness to receive that which He has to offer us, which is goodness and everything that pertains to life and godliness, for us to really enjoy that which He has for us already. So that's in Jesus' name.
Thank you, David. Mr. Russell, will you give us an update on the city cemetery?
My name's Roger Russell, much better known as David Stroger's stepfather. But I do not intend to get escorted out, hopefully. But that's the only way I can get my picture in the Wilson County News. Hello. By the way, I graduated here in 1948, zoomed that camera in, and
says so right here. I mean, there are not many people here that graduated in 1948, right? Anyway, because of problems, I had to resign effective at the end of this month. So, as president of the Cemetery Restoration Association, and it's almost exactly a year ago. Well, actually, Lou Rosenberg, about 14 months ago, we're in the same Sunday school, I need to talk to you, maybe. You know, it really would be a good idea if you get active in the Tennessee City Council. You started it, but you did give a $100 donation, and we were able to buy a lawnmower, so that gave us enough to pay $430. And 2 days ago, the guy in the black over there picked up the lawnmower. Now, it belongs to the association, but the crew there is certainly welcome to use it, because I realize the city budget is in tough shape. No, right now, I'm, because of the shortage of time, it's been a good year, but, I'm not a man of great patience. And speaking about the city, excuse me, allergies are going. City cemetery right now needs mowing. The gophers I've been talking about for a year are still very active. It will need water very soon, as long as it's wind and heat is there. And I've seen people starting to use some of their own hoses and stuff. And I know the school district has to water their baseball field, and there's some kind of track on it. So I know we got a budget to face, but I just don't want that stuff to die out there. The tree trimming, my goodness, I had that bid of 9,000 to really do it right. So I got another local guy here to do it, and he bidded $48,000 on part of it, $36,000 on the other. So I'm suggesting tree trimming. We're looking for volunteers. Landscaping, you don't want to do that now till October anyway, on planning stuff. Hopefully there's some way we can finish the fence, and finish the fences on 3 other cemeteries down here, all chain link. The Canary Island Cemetery behind the auto parts place, and I've asked this for a year also. It needs mowing right now. This type of mower we've got has a string trimmer out front, and it's perfect for mowing in those closed places. And so, and also it needs a fence, and it needs a water supply, because that can be a beautiful cemetery. It's old. Just see those graves in there, and how old some of them are. That's Canary Island. Okay. Garza Valdez Cemetery. That's on Old Business 181. That's where the lady was in here and was very unhappy about horses grazing in there, and also my little red pickup got stuck in there. But anyway, the iron posts are up, just small iron posts, but they didn't go any further. So there's not much money to put chain link on there. That needs to be done. It needs water, and it needs both. City Cemetery number 2 is on Plum Street, I believe it is. That's the African American cemetery. It needs mowing. It has somewhat of a chain link fence on the side, but on the right side, somebody raising, looks like fighting roosters. Also, when I walk in there, there's a couple of black dogs come in and don't like it. I would say it needs water supply. It needs a fence fixed up. It needs mowing. Most disappointing thing for me was canceling a special Memorial Day service at the city cemetery. And, I had most everybody picked out what we're going to do things. It just did not work out. And too much going on in my personal life, stuff like that. But let's look towards special, honoring veterans, you know, on November 11th, perhaps out there. For sure, every Memorial Day. I mean, I myself, because I enjoy doing it, put up about 300 donated flags on those veterans' graves. You know, and I intended to have somebody else do it. But it gave me such a thrill to see Civil War, you know, a few Civil War, and all those other guys, especially World War II. One that said, two brothers there, and one was lost in the Pacific. And I mean, I can walk around. If I feel low, I can go walk around in there about 7 o'clock in the morning and look at those things. We've contacted a guy about doing it right. He didn't appear here, but we have a meeting on the 14th of next month as far as the association is concerned, and we'll be at the city council meeting that evening. Hopefully, we'll have a replacement for me by then. So we want to get the right person. And I'm not, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm not irreplaceable. Nobody. It's just the right person is out there. I guess what surprises me is why, maybe it's because there's so much else on there, why the Latin American people are not screaming about 4 or 5 of those cemeteries. And also, I said African American, they got 2. Hispanic people, about 5. I mean, you can go down that river, and it's about 25 yards wide, 100 yards deep. But you know, the grass is this high. And old grass, all Hispanic. But anyway, that's just the way I feel about it. And I'll be here next on 14th for the meeting too. I won't be legally here, but I'll be whatever something. Could have a gym spot. Might have my name in brackets or something. Then Diana, you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, as you know, this is the year that we start negotiating and approving collective bargaining with our police department. So we have Harry Hayden here with Cleat, representing the Floresville Police Department. Chad also, our clerk, as the chief negotiator for the police side. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I was called by Chad and told that Randy wanted us to come and make a presentation. Truthfully, that's not something we normally do with cities. Normally, that's subject to a bargaining team. However, I'm so happy to do it. I'm happy to be here. We work for the Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas. I'm a contract negotiator and handle several collective bargaining agreements throughout South Texas. I'm also a former police officer. Back in the late 90s and 2000, 2001, somewhere. Anyway, I just wanted to give a brief overview. Chad has told me that some of the council was not here when collective bargaining was first implemented. Collective bargaining is governed by Chapter 174 of the Texas Local Government Code. It's only granted to a city or a county through a public referendum. In 2008, there was a referendum, and the Police Officers Association obtained collective bargaining. In 2009, they were in contract negotiations, and there was a 3-year contract agreement that went into effect on October 2009, and then it expires this September 30th of this year. The premise of collective bargaining is the requirement from Chapter 174 is that the city and the association meet in good faith to try to obtain a contract that encompasses wages, hours, and conditions of employment. They have their first contract is still in effect until the end of this September. We've already started and we've successfully negotiated a subsequent agreement. This agreement, once approved by the city council, will go into effect on October of this year through September of 2015. The contract itself is not a party partner. Once you already collective bargaining is usually a competitive style of bargaining, and generally there's a winner and there's a loser. I believe, and after talking with the city team and with the association, that both parties are happy. I think both parties have obtained what they perceive as a win-win situation. We were, instead of position-based bargaining, we want to what would be known as interest-based bargaining. And real simply, the basic premise of that is that the city and the association diligently work to help each other address each side's needs. And I think that's exactly what we've done in this contract. In this particular contract, without going into the particular details of the contract, we believe that having collective bargaining is a win-win for cities and associations. For associations, for the individual police officers, it contractualizes their conditions of employment, their wages and stuff, as I indicated, and there's no ambiguity, there's no surprises. Every police officer knows what his or her wages. Every police officer knows if there's an internal discipline issue or an internal investigation issue. There's a process with how the city has to conduct those investigations and how they administer discipline. So there's no surprises. It tends to eliminate just kind of, for lack of better terms, a guilt award system. And what we've done in this contract, though we haven't covered in the original contract, we continue to enhance professionalism through the promotion system. We have also, and I wanted to just real quick explain something. We talked a lot about money, and I've heard a lot of the citizens, there's a lot of, and I don't know the politics here, but, give me the day I go home, I don't live here. So, I can tell you that having worked here in the late 90s, even since when I worked here, Floresville has always been, traditionally been, the police department has been a starting ground for police officers. This police department, since the time I was here up through today, they have had so many officers, including myself, start here just for that, usually financial reasons. They want to leave and go to San Antonio Police Department or Corpus Christi or whatever. They take a higher paying job elsewhere. One of the things that the city and the association mutually try to address is retention. I don't know what the actual costs are. We never really, it never came to the point that we had to actually start analyzing the costs. But suffice to say that there's a tremendous cost of employee turnover. I mean, I've known of officers that have worked here for less than a year, get their training, and go somewhere else, and the city's out. Now we have to tie up a background investigator. Now we have to tie up supervisors to conduct employment interviews. Now we have to run an ad in the newspaper to get people in to apply. You have to pay for physicals. You have to pay for psychological evaluations. You have to issue a whole new set of uniforms, bulletproof vests, and all the stuff that gets issued. So certainly, it's in the best interest of the city to reduce turnover. And I believe this agreement that we've done is certainly aimed at doing that. Again, I believe we have a win-win situation. If there's any particularly on Chapter 174 or on the collective bargaining process, I'm happy to answer those questions. If there's any questions concerning the specifics or whys, I would prefer that, again, it's not protocol, but that's done in the open council meeting. And I think your city attorney can advise you on that as well if it comes to that.
If you could answer one question specifically. You mentioned a starting officer. Because I know when we were first elected 6 years ago, there was still not the collective bargaining was in place. And the lowest paid officer, Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, was between $9 and $10 an hour, starting off. Or actually had already been employed for a couple of years. So what does the starting officer get paid now through the collective bargaining? And as a reminder, people voted for the collective bargaining in 2010?
2008.
2008, okay. So what would a starting officer be making?
In the current contract?
Yes, sir.
It's 13, is it?
The current one is
No, it's
13, sir, and it would go to 50.
It would go to $15 an hour.
That's correct. And just to give you a quick background, and if I can interrupt real quick, the city staff on the collective bargaining team consisted of myself, or Chief Herrera, Sherry Pollock, Fonda Kellner, and at times Mayor, if he was available, if not one council member, if not city secretary. On the other end was Chad Clark, Daria Fowler, Jesse Evans, and John Munoz and Perry Heiden. We met several times and worked tirelessly on revamping the current and soon to expire contract. We either cut or
association has an obligation to its membership to ratify the agreement, and the city council has an obligation to approve it. We have time. This agreement, once it's approved, does not go into effect again until October this year. But just for a matter of record, the association has already met, they voted unanimously to go through the contract. So on the association end, the contract is already ratified, just to let you approve.
Okay, what is our timeline on that, Randy?
It's under this, it's a discussion item at this time, so you can get the total packet and review it at your convenience. But like I said, I've got the economic impact that it'll have on our budget that we'll start working on. So the timeline is that we have to approve this budget prior to the expiration date, if not, when we go to the mediation.
Did you want to disclose the economic impact? Did you want to disclose the financial impact
Financial impact, $92,289.60
per year?
This is, hold on, the first year.
The first year.
Second year, $33,009.60. Third year, $33,072.00. Total amount for the next 3-year contract, $158,371.20. And that was after all the negotiations were taken into consideration, and that's where we ended up.
Any other questions or comments, council?
I'd like to know what the percentage increase is for the current contract
It's not a consistent percentage increase.
for the first year.
42%.
Is that an average?
The total, this is the total. 42% from where we are
42%.
on the salary.
I'm sorry, Councilman, I missed the question. I thought you knew what the average raise was per officer. I apologize.
Chad, how many total police officers do we have total now?
16.
16. Back about 2004. As a matter of fact, I just want to retract here for a minute. I want to remind everybody that when the county and the city years back got into an affair with the Floresville housing, is that correct? Remember when we said we were going to go ahead and get our own property and get our own jailhouse. I know that we worked very hard to get that. We had some confrontation about why we bought the property and where we're headed. And we have seen positive growth, not only in our city, but our police department.
Johnny, one of the things that your question is, we've always been behind the curve. When I started here in '92, we had 7 officers. And so, yeah, we've almost doubled since '92. But if you look at the recommendations per number of citizens for the city, and how many officers you need, we've always been behind the curve. We're just now getting caught up. And like Perry said, we've had these overturns, guys coming and working for 6 months, and then we booked another department. And that's what we're trying to prevent. And if you look at the raises in the contract, the majority of the raises are at the bottom. The guys at the top probably got anything.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, that's understandable. What I'm trying to reinforce is that this agreement was voted by the people themselves, the citizens.
The process was.
The process for it. So what we need to really look at is the agreement itself and what we're going to ask in return in order for those salaries to be given. During the collective bargaining agreement, there are certain things that job follows, is that correct? There's certain things that have to be done by your police department, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's what we need to look at, and maybe refreshing those, and
That was done.
right. Well, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to tell you is that a 43% increase is, I think for the growth of the police department is about right. You see people moving from here to other jobs within our city, for instance, the oil fields, taking some of the employees, not. But those who have been consistently stayed with our department is what we actually need here in Floresville. So
pay scale or the total contract, please, Council.
There'll be other changes to the ballot.
Can there be changes?
Yes.
Yes.
That'll have to be with the collective bargaining team again. If the council chooses to make any changes to what this is, the recommendations,
Right.
then we go back to the table with their negotiation team and take it from there. We've taken into consideration, and I'll just do some quick highlights on physical fitness,
Correct.
on the holidays, overtime, all of those things were addressed during this contract.
Correct. When we do take a vote, it's either yea or nay.
Right.
If it's a nay, then we go back to the bargaining table.
Well, I know that I've explained and given Mr. Johnson some of my issues and directives, and he followed through with it, so.
Just take some time to look at it, and then if you have any suggestions or recommendations, please make them to me, and then we can decide if we have to go back to the table or we'll bring it to consideration and action.
What's the deadline?
What's the deadline? Sorry?
We don't have a deadline.
No deadline.
Just, it expires at the end of this year.
The next fiscal year? Okay.
Now, as far as in budgetary deadlines, I mean, that would be obviously,
No, I'm for review in September.
you don't have.
By September.
You can review it now, and we can discuss it, that we can incorporate it into our budget work.
Well, that's it. Thank you very much. Okay, another discussion item, internet service with ZipLink. Mr. Gomez?
Yes, I've come to understand that there's some citizens that are looking for other ways of getting internet service, so I brought a person, his name's Mr. Huber, to educate the people on his services, if he's here.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name's Greg Huber. I own ZipLink Internet. And just to be real quick, because it's been a long night already, I guess, is that ZipLink operates in Wilson County. We've been in business about 2.5 years. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce and got one of their email lists the other day, and saw that there's some comments that there was no internet in port. And I was a little bit upset because I work 12-hour days and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building our service. We started from zero a few years ago and now have well over 600 customers, which for a small company is pretty good. And I think we have a very quality internet service. We've invested in licensed microwave links and have 2 fiber data feeds. And we'd just like the council to know that we're here, we're in business, we don't advertise much, it's mostly word of mouth. If there was a need for city services or someone would like a proposal about services, we would like the opportunity to have a discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Huber.
Mr. Huber, a lot of members of the chamber are in the audience tonight. If you haven't met some of them, they're in the audience tonight, the chamber.
All right,
All right. Item 4A, consideration and action to approve resolution to apply for funding for wastewater treatment plant expansion, water and other infrastructure needs with USDA. Before we go on to council discussion, we have citizens input. Mr. Miller?
I find this issue very much like the parks. We're going to seek the money, but we don't have a plan. Or at least the plan hasn't been published. This doesn't say if it's a loan or a grant. If it's a loan, how are we going to pay for it? You know, I would like to go to the bank and say, give me some money. And then I'll come back and tell you what I'm going to do with it. As a business owner, I can't do that. They want to see a plan. They want to see timelines. They want to see specifics. How can we go out to seek funding for wastewater plant, water, and other infrastructure and not know what the hell we're going to do with it? I think this council, as the fiduciary agents of the taxpayers, before saying go get the money, should see a plan. What are we going to do with the money? How much money do we need? What are the timelines? Some very, very basic questions before we just give carte blanche to go get money. Thank you.
Mr. Gosselin?
I've got plenty of answers for that. Thank you, Mayor.
pursue the funding for the USDA loan grant for the wastewater treatment plant expansion, which is something that Mr. Miller and the rest of the citizens requested before a sports complex. So that's what I've done. In the process, if anybody knows the process for the USDA, this resolution is a first step in moving forward before any engineering, before any funding, before anything. The citizens requested this, and this resolution just is a formal approval by the council for me to move forward on getting the engineering studies, the funding, the amount, everything else that goes with it. And Lou Rosenberg will follow up on that, and Cindy Nichols is also here. So we have met with the USDA office in Seguin and gathered everything that needs to be done for the approval. So Cindy and Lou, please.
I can receive a copy of the resolution that I passed out earlier, please. Mr. Mayor, if I can answer a couple of these, and please stop me if I'm covering something that you want to cover, please. The process for the USDA is a three-part process, and they all three address Mr. Miller's issues. First of all, a requirement exists that you do a preliminary engineering report. A preliminary engineering report is frequently referred to as a PER in parlance that's familiar with the people in Seguin, which is the office that will process this loan application. A preliminary engineering report requires that your engineer assess your needs for the system. That means mapping the system. That means talking about the size of your lines, talking about the size of your adequate treatment or inadequate treatment. It means costing the system, and it means determining whether your rates are adequate for the improvements that you need. All of the pay-as-you-go conservative principles are involved in preparing the preliminary engineering report. The PER must be reviewed by the local Seguin office, and then it goes to Temple. It's reviewed there by two people that are both in the engineering department, and it comes back, and once it's gone through that process, you'll be presented with a preliminary engineering report, the cost for the project, and then you'll go forward on that, or not go forward on that, or determine if your rates are adequate or not. And you have Mr. Raul Gonzalez, who's involved in that evaluation process right now. But you cannot go anywhere with this project until you've assessed your system, until you have a plan for what your growth is going to be for the next 10 to 20 years, and until your engineering seal has been affixed to the project and you've had an opportunity to review it. Your resolution that's set up for tonight is to authorize the application. And the first part of that application is going to require your engineer to go through the PER process that I've just described. It will require a presentation here to the council. It will require a posting in the newspaper. It will require an environmental assessment. And all of that has to come back here at least twice for you to look at, for the public to look at, and for you to find out if the people in Austin, with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, agree with your review process and agree with your evaluation process. And that communication all has to be documented at two places, in Seguin, here, and actually 3 in Austin. So you've got a long ways to go before you can put a final price tag on it, before you determine whether your rates are adequate, and before you determine whether Jim Miller will be happy whether you're doing sewer first or something else first. Until you've gone through that process, Mr. Miller and none of you can answer the question, which is, how much do you need for investment? How much do you need for improvement to meet TCEQ requirements? And will your rates be adequate to fund it? This is only the beginning process to authorize that to commence. And this is exactly what was discussed by your citizen group in the last 2 council meetings, which was to put your infrastructure first. This is what this item is to authorize the commencement of tonight.
And I'll reread the minutes. Mayor, Councilman John W. Guerrero made a motion to direct the city manager to complete process of following tasks. And bullet number 2 was proceed with USDA sewer funding and rate study, and that's what I've done, sir.
Mayor, Council, if I may reiterate what Mr. Rosenberg was saying, and to clarify things with our citizens and Mr. Miller. On May 17, myself, Andy Johnson, and Larry Smith, we went to the USDA office in Seguin to gather information to start this process for the wastewater treatment plant and infrastructure needs. On May 24th, today, we're submitting a resolution with City Council for this. Ms. Betty Soto at the USDA office specifically gave us a list. It's a 14-step process of what we need to do to get this started. And the first thing was the resolution. After the resolution is done, the next step is public notification of the application. After that, application for federal assistance. After that, description of project. Copy of an authorizing legislation. Application for certification of debarment form. Submitting our audits and our financial reports. Supporting a documentation on existing debt in water or wastewater. Providing a verification of inability to obtain credit at reasonable rates and terms from minimum of 2 lenders. Submitting certification regarding other credit information and evidence of no outstanding judgment. We even have to identify any known relations with the USDA agency. And we have to provide a copy of current rate schedule and meeting minutes of council's approvals, and provide information on the service area, which is a number of users per each census tract. USDA needs to determine our median household income. This is just for the pre-application package. This is just pre-application. We need to submit all this information to USDA to even get to the next portion of this process.
In layman's terms, what it means is we're starting the process to build a sewer plant. And this is the very first step here tonight to pass this resolution. But that's basically what we're doing. We're building up to building a new sewer plant.
How much are we applying for? Is there an amount?
There's not an amount in the resolution, Mr. Morales.
Do we have a ballpark figure of what?
No, we do not, because the assessment has not been done yet.
In another process too, are we supposed to go up, if we apply for this, is to go up on our sewer and water?
There will be an assessment on two levels. One is the requirement for what TCEQ requires for state standards, the design for that purpose, and then the assessment of what those rates will be. And that all has to come back to you all before you submit. That's what's called the preliminary engineering report, PER. And you have to approve the PER before it goes beyond this step. What you're being asked to approve tonight, and I'll just read it because it says it simply, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Floresville resolving to apply for financial assistance with the United States Department of Agriculture, Rural Development Department, and to authorize the mayor and/or manager and the city secretary to execute documents necessary to apply for and qualify the city for said program to the United States Department of Agriculture, Rural Development pursuant to the low and annual grant program. And I put a clause in here specifically that requires the matter come back to the council before it goes forward. So all you're doing right now is approving the application and the follow-on steps to determine what the PDR will look like.
Maybe we should hold off on that sports complex over there, make sure that in case that thing doesn't pass, they have the money to go ahead and upgrade it.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I make a motion to approve resolution to apply for funding for wastewater treatment plant expansion, water and other infrastructure needs, the USDA.
Motion by Gomez, second by Malones. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries 4-0. We're on to the next item, council. Consideration and action to review and approve a treated wastewater fluid contract with Alpha Reclaim Technology. And before we do, we have citizens input. Mr. Miller and Sarah, you mentioned oil and gas waste. I'm not sure where that falls. Sarah, can you?
It's not on the agenda, I just wanted to put it in, and we had a seminar today on consider microcontaminants.
Okay. Mr. Miller, go ahead.
Thank you. I have some questions and I hopefully will be addressed. I remember when this issue first got brought up, Mr. Rosenberg advised the council that if we do this, that the TCEQ would be inspecting our wastewater plant and that we may have some additional immediate construction costs, or we may have some fine issues as a result of that inspection. I'm concerned about those potential liabilities. Secondly, if selling our affluent wastewater is such a great deal, are we putting this out to bid very much like the city of Polk did, so that we are getting the best offer possible, or are we just taking the first offer? Those are some concerns I have on that, as do many of the citizens of this community. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I respond to
Please.
the last question first? The gentleman that's here tonight is the result of the request for exactly that. We did put the matter out, both and other cities did, and this gentleman here was the only respondent, or the only party responding to the proposal. And those concerns that Mr. Miller has evidenced tonight, I'll address those if you like, but the question of public bidding, yes, it was publicly bid, and we've held off on that until we've been able to kind of trace through some of the issues with this gentleman tonight. The issue on inspection of our plant, I'll take these in reverse order. The issue on inspection of our plant is an ongoing issue. We've been inspected recently because of our lift station in Avalon, inspected routinely over here at our station, and we will be requiring this gentleman here to approach the TCEQ to get a reuse report and to follow through and at his expense to qualify to get the reuse system in place. So yes, there will be some looks at our plant, but since we're doing that anyway in connection with the PDR, the PDR will require TCEQ review. That's concurrent with this matter. So I think that those answers I can provide to you right at the beginning of this discussion.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the council, thank y'all, Mr. Joslin, Mr. Rosenberg, thank y'all for allowing me to be here. Once again, my name is Reagan Scott. I'm with Alpha Reclaim Technology. I do believe it was the end of last year, we went out for a request for proposals, or the city placed a request for proposals in the newspaper. We did respond to that with an offer, and since that time, for several months now, I've been working with Mr. Rosenberg's office to the point that Kenny at his office recognizes my voice, and who knows who I am when I call him now. I believe we've hashed out an agreement that is acceptable with the city as well as with us to go ahead and begin, hopefully, the process of purchasing the city's effluent water. I don't know how far previously, I know Mr. Warwick had come to address the council some months ago and discussed this. Obviously, if there are any questions, either from the community or from the council themselves, as far as the process, what we're doing, how our company works, or anything of that such, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah, actually, when we heard about this, we actually were in training in Austin, and we had heard of people actually buying the water treatment, wastewater, and using it beneficial for, and there was a question about sanitation and everything
operators and owners have been in the oil and gas business as well as exploration business for several decades.
Is there any other cities besides us in around surrounding cities that use your services?
Yes, sir. We've contracted, I believe we're upwards of 20 cities already to purchase effluent water. I can kind of run through a list of cities we've signed if you'd like that.
If possible. I don't know
Sure.
if it's possible. But
Sure. We signed Beeville. We have 2 plants there. Buffalo, Castroville, Centerville, Devine, Joaquin, Jordanton, Karnes City, Laredo, Mathis, Nixon, Poteet, St. Augustine, Sinton, Stockville, Tinahall, Troop, and of course, we've also signed with some private industries that produce treated effluent also.
thank you.
Ms. Castillo?
Mr. Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
There's an issue of our clarification on the rates. On page 7, contracts discuss the initial payments versus price of treated wastewater. Can you just speak to that?
Are you discussing, I guess, the purchase price and how we come up with the initial amount we pay up front?
That's correct.
Yes, the upfront initial payment, or option payment as we call it, is based on what your gross revenue for the city, the possibility of your gross revenue for the city would be, we take 1% of that, and we pay that upfront annually, just as basically a good faith payment to the city. And we'll pay that annually each year throughout the contract.
And the contract is for 5 years.
Yes, ma'am. The primary term is for 5 years, and then there's an option, of course, to extend. Work that out.
And what is the expected revenue over the 5-year contract?
It's $384.16 each year.
As a minimum.
Yes, that's part, I mean, that doesn't include the option payments or any other, of course, purchases outside that. That's basing on the amount of money, the amount of water that y'all are saying, a minimal amount of effluent y'all would make available to us. If we were to purchase 100% of that, obviously the gross revenue for the city would be $384,000.
$384,000, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
For 5 years,
No, sir. That's annual.
annually?
Mr. Mayor, if you look at the bottom of page 10, look at the list of gentlemen. If you look at the bottom of page 10, there's a schedule across there, and that's your minimum gallons per year that we specify in here. This gentleman started this with an option, and under the option, he really didn't have to initially take anything.
Correct.
And so what we've moved in the negotiations is now there's 175,000 for the first, 250 for the second, 300 for the third, 325 for the fourth, and 325 for the fifth. And the way these are calculated is these to be purchased at the rates that are set out there. For figure 1, it's $292.25 minimum. Figure 2 is $417. Figure 3 is $501. Figure 4 is $542.75, and the last is $542.75. So basically, what we're trying to do is get them to purchase as much as possible, so we focus on minimum purchases. You've got an option, and then it's the minimum requirements for each of these years. If somebody comes to the city and makes us a better offer, he has to match it and beat it. And that's built into the contract where he can actually beat that price, but we get the revenue.
So that could also be a funding source for expansion of our wastewater.
That's right.
As we are for, I think, a lot of communities that we're working with presently. Honestly, it's not something, it's not a turnkey operation that we sign the agreement tonight, tomorrow we're selling your effluent. Obviously, there's a process we'll have to go through. We'll work with the city to acquire the 210 application for reuse from the TCEQ. So far, we've had no problems with that. The TCEQ is behind our project because it's mainly, the main purpose they're behind is because it protects our drinking water. By quitting or stopping enforcing these industries or giving these industries another option to utilize effluent water versus our potable water, is protecting our drinking water. So the TCEQ has strongly been behind this so far. And our process is going very smoothly with the TCEQ on getting the reuse authorization Once that's acquired, then obviously it's the infrastructure set up, completion of that, and then sale, we can begin selling the water.
It's very interesting. Any other comments or questions?
Does the city run any risk for liabilities?
Very indemnified under the contract.
It's a reinforcement to the citizens anyway.
And of course, this contract is at no cost whatsoever to the city.
Is there a motion to approve the contract? Motion, Council?
I'll make a motion to review and approach the city wastewater contract with Alpha Bank Technology. Second that.
Motion by Guerrero, second by Gomez, to approve a wastewater pollutant contract with Alpha Reclaim Technology. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all very much.
Item C, consideration and action for council set up advertising procedure on notice for best value criteria and authorization to publish notice regarding proposals for depository contract. Before we go on, citizens input, Jim Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Rosenberg, for answering my questions and the things that had not been made quite clear. Also, thank you for really clarifying the issue with the wastewater plant and how much farther we have to go and how we yet do not know how much it's going to cost or how we're going to really truly fund it. I appreciate you bringing that to light for everybody here. Regarding a depository contract, I'm concerned over the timing of this issue, maybe not the issue of changing the depository contract, but the timing of it, given that we have yet to see an annual audit for 10, 11, bid, that we have not had a detailed explanation of the adjustments made. We have not seen any financial reports this fiscal year. We've hired a comptroller. We haven't seen the monthly reports since that comptroller was hired. I would suggest that we get our financial affairs in order before we start changing contracts as to where we deposit our money. It may be a good idea. It may even save the city money. But given the time that we're doing it, it is highly suspicious. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Mayor, council, according to our charter 9.17 depository, at the beginning of the fiscal year, the city council shall designate a financial institution in or out of the city as a city depository, which shall be selected for a period of 2 years, and the financial institution that shall pay the highest rate of interest on the average daily balance, which shall be acceptable to the city council, shall be selected. The council requests a bid or bids offered by the financial institution in the city. The city council may also seek bids from financial institutions outside the city, but these institutions must have a place of business in the state of Texas. This is part of our budgetary process. We have had the same depository since I've been here. This is just a approval from the council for us to start advertising and receiving. We're not selecting anybody, but it does take time for the notices to go out properly and for us to take those bids in. Our audit and the financial reporting by our comptroller, as we know, my directive again from the council was that by June 1st this happens, so we will be posting a meeting for next Thursday. This is a specifically financial meeting regarding our budget, completed audit, and our financial statement from our comptroller himself. So this is just a request from the council that we start the process of advertising.
Who does the selection of the financial?
The council does.
Yes, sir. After you get a response.
We get everything, yes, just like the trash contract, just like any contract, has to be approved by the city council.
Any other discussion, council? Any questions? How long have we been banking with the depository?
And the bank depository agreement
process of,
Yes, sir, it's just the process of advertising and receiving the best batting criteria.
Mr. Mayor, process-wise, it would seem logical that some of these coincide with the fiscal year, could be later. But we're suggesting that ought to be on or about October 1st, review the budget process. And secondly, we're suggesting that at least one school district, one other municipality, one county, be used as paradigms for purposes of selection. That is to say, how they put value on the deposit. And it's to use the period of 90 days now between now and the end of the fiscal year for purposes of advertising and getting a proposal before you.
Any other discussion, council? None, let's have a motion.
Make motion to approve the council to set up advertising procedure on notice for best value criteria and authorization to publish notice regarding proposals for the depository contract.
Motion by Gomez, second by Castillo to approve advertising procedure for best value criteria and authorization to publish notice regarding proposals for depository contract. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next item.
Excuse me, Mayor,
Yes.
could I interject real quick?
Sure.
This is not on the agenda, and I have to leave, but, I wanted to make the city council aware and, let you guys know, I know Andy was there today. It was a seminar on Texas illegal dumping resource, evaluation, and it was presented by Dr. John Ockles. He is with the, Texas Illegal Dumping Resource Center. He's an expert on this issue, and he brought up the name of the city, Flower Mound, several times today, which was exciting, and he's here, and I'm really glad that you now know someone in Flower Mound. They are famous for being very proactive in their oil and gas waste policies and setting, codes and code enforcement, and they are just the blueprint for what is good about cities who have gone through what we are in the process of going through now. And many of the violations that are being committed are at a class C misdemeanor level, which is what JC courts and municipal courts generally handle. A lot of it is, a lot of the violations are health code violations that are already in effect. Those are things that we don't usually think about on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of people wouldn't even consider health and safety codes being associated with the oil and gas industry. But indeed, most of the infractions and violations occurring can be prosecuted under the health and safety code violations. The health and safety codes are already in effect. Flower Mound took those and expanded on them, and they charged fees. They had all kinds of interesting and very valid and very, what's the word, just very well contained and very tight policies that their city government established, and then the oil companies and everyone adhered to them. And it made for a much smoother transition and less, as I said, more beautiful city, not just because of their parks, but also because of what their city council did as far as enforcement of codes. And we've had so many complaints. I've heard it over and over. We've seen it in the newspaper, not just in Floresville, but in Karnes County, Nueces County, and all over South Texas where these things are going on. And I'm just going to request that the city council please look at the things that, the handouts that we received today. I know you have a copy of those already. If you would make one for each of the council members maybe, and if we could invite Dr. Ockles to come and give maybe an all-day seminar, maybe a 2-hour session on what we can be doing to protect our community from the spillage and the salt water and all the things that we're concerned about but we're not sure how to address. That would be more prudent, I think, for the city council to act on as a whole before it's too late. And maybe, I don't want to say hire a new code enforcement officer, but maybe educate the officers that we have and maybe give them more specific things to look for, more specific things that they can be doing so that if these violations are occurring, that they can be prosecuted and fees to be paid and fines to be paid, and we would get some help here, that we're not just losing all of our roads and getting more potholes and tearing up our streets, and then they're gone and then we're left with a mess. So that's just my concern, and I appreciate you allowing me the time to share.
Well, thank you for all that information, sir. Thank you. Sure, go ahead.
You know, from, since
oil boom, we've tried to reroute a lot of our trucks. I know someone asked me, I've been present, we've tried to keep them out of the city. And by our attorney's input, I think, can we do that? If I can ask my attorney.
We're badly off the agenda, but the answer to your question is yes, we can. You have a memo from the manager and the mayor responding to that request from about 2 months ago. But here's the short answer. Floresville has 2 routes. You've got the main 181, you've got the bypass. You've got 97, you've got a T. We have no alternative route under the hazmat program. And we're pretty much stuck with where we are. We can slow them down, we can make sure we address the J breaks, we can make sure we address other issues, but we really don't have a circumferential course anybody can take. And the problem we have is a Hudson's choice or a very unsatisfactory choice. If you route through the bypass 181, you're going to a residential neighborhood. If you put on the main 181, you're going to commercial, residential, in some areas closed, but in most areas some of them will. And in consultation with TxDOT, they said you can have some really exciting hearings, you can have some really exciting opportunities for people to learn about what these trucks are carrying, but you really don't have alternatives.
I just want to interject with that, and also the fact that we've actually looked into code compliance. If months back, if I recall, I actually put on the agenda, to answer the question, Sarah, we actually put on the agenda for people parking in certain areas overnight in certain trailer. I know we see them out parked just at night in some of the camper trailer areas, and some of the hotels, and I've actually looked into that also. Now, I know they're still looking into those problems, and to just address that, we have looked at some of those problems.
Let's go on to the next item, council. Consideration and action to approve preliminary plat at 1500 10th Street. Ms. Nichols?
Mayor and council, we have that the owner, Adrian Patel, submitted a formal, to approve the preliminary plat on May the 3rd. Planning and zoning had a special meeting on May 16th, and all approved for recommendations for this preliminary plat. We've gone through those series of preliminary meetings to ensure what the preliminary plat requires, infrastructure, drainage, fire protection issues.
What is the business?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1500 10th Street is a proposed 40-room hotel. They want to call it the Executive Inn. Executive Inn? And if you want to know where that's at, that's actually right next to the Richardson.
That empty lot between Fina, or is it, that's on the,
Between Richardson's and, Exeter.
it's on there.
Was there any concerns at P&Z?
No, sir, they're going by, comments from our city engineer. They've answered most of the comments. Now, remember, this is preliminary. The final plat, our city engineer will still ensure that they will comply with.
Any other discussion, council? If not,
I'm going to approve the preliminary plat at 1500 10th Street.
Second that.
motion by Guerrero, second by Gomez to approve the preliminary plat at 1510. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries 4-0. Council, preliminary plat at 927 10th Street.
Again, Mayor and Council, this is, the owner of Sanjay Misra. He is, submitting a preliminary plat application on August the 26th, we're looking for procedures again, and with for a special meeting, planning and zoning approval, May 16th. So we recommend they all pass it. This is for a proposed 3-story 80-room holiday inn express.
address the issue as to why we're removing them from the board. If we have cause for removing them. Now, I realize that the bylaws don't say you have to have cause. But really, the question is revolving door appointment of members on these boards, particularly if they are doing a good job, if they are attending meetings, if they are asking difficult questions. And as we relate to the Economic Development Corporation, are they truly serving the community? And if they are, why are we removing them? Or are we just removing them to make some political gain? Those are my concerns. And as we go to address the membership on these boards, I would like the council to address why we want to remove somebody and appoint somebody else. Thank you.
Council, any discussion, any questions? Mr. Gomez?
Yes, I make a motion to appoint a member of the Floresville Economic Development. His name, Wilfredo E. Amado. Again, Wilfredo E. Amado. And remove Mrs. Flores.
I'd like to also say, you know, I feel like Mr. Miller there, that, you know, these people that when, it just seems, my opinion, only, not everybody's opinion. But
Let's get the second, we'll have discussion. Is there a second to that motion? I second it. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
the thing is that, I don't know, it just seems that it's always about a power struggle, just my opinion. I'm not talking to the rest, I'm talking about, you know, like Mr. Ramirez that served on the, as a mayor, as a city councilman, was, you know, to me, it was really, really bad what they did, you know, because it's a courtesy vote, but the charter does state, so it's no argument. But when you get questioned, or you voice your opinion, it seems like they throw you out. So they got rid of Mr. Ramirez. I have nothing against Freddie Amado. I think he's a pretty good guy, he's a businessman, and you know, so forth. But, you know, Mr. Flores, I guess, it was already said, I can't, you know, I don't think I can prove it, but it was already said a couple of weeks ago, it said, do you want to be on the FEDC board because we're about to pull out Mrs. Flores? And when that got to my ears, I kind of felt ugly about it. So, you know, we do need to address that when the people on any board to explain why. Like me, I didn't fight it because I knew the thing is, as soon as I won my election, they were going to show their power. So they came out here and said, I make a motion to go ahead and they replaced all my board members, which I don't have a problem with. But get somebody that's qualified and that's going to run this city and do the best job that they can. And here they are trying to get applications to the ones that are qualified, but they only give applications to certain individual councils that I don't give nothing. My agenda is always 2 pieces of paper. There's always missing something, you know. And it's just bad. And I'm going to vote no on my thing because the way they do things out here. And, you know, and this was said by one of the council members a couple of weeks ago that he was going to replace Mrs. Flores. And I think Mrs. Flores has been doing a good job, been asking questions. I think Mr. But I hope that one day here, that we take a look at, even me, I'm up for election in November, and this time for me to go, vote me out. But I've been trying to do the best that I can. But people that come in here and promise people things, and then they do other, they haven't even listened to the public at no time at all. They don't even have a one of these. To me, it seems, and in my opinion again, it seems like they don't want to hear nobody because they don't have an intercom over it. So, I'm just saying, you know, it's sad to say that, you know, they can do because that's what do you call it, the charter states. And it makes me upset, and that's why I started, you know, getting really bent out of shape because I care about this city and I care about the people of Floresville. And
Let me add also, I've never seen a model's face in the audience here, I've never seen at any events or meetings. Monica, you can group the whole FEDC group right there, and I will guarantee you that Monica will be the first person with a pen and pencil asking the hard questions.
Absolutely.
Administrator Monica made a remark or asked a question during a meeting, and one of the members says, well, you know what happened to the other guy? Monica says, sir, are you threatening me? And the guy said, well, you know, at that point, I knew something was up, because Monica asked a couple questions, and when they don't want to answer them or give a straight answer, Monica has come to me and said, I requested information. I've gone to the city manager, he sends me to FEDC for questions, and they'll send me back to the city manager. Am I correct, Monica?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if a board member cannot get answers within City Hall, what's up with that? And now we're trying to remove it because she's trying to do her best. It's somebody that doesn't even attend the meetings, and I like Brady also. So Monica pays her dues. She's a lifelong resident here. Okay?
Absolutely.
I kind of wonder, since she stood up to the mayor, a couple of weeks ago, and he said that the FEDC had paid the school, and she stood up and says, excuse me? She wasn't aware of that, and then Mr. Gonzalez said that they were in the process of paying it. Okay? Monica stands up to what she feels. She's not one to just to let somebody tell her something. She says, show me. And that's what I like about Monica.
I'd like to add something to that, Mayor, and a question to the councilman, and a question to Mr. Porter. What information has she requested from the city manager's office and not received? Because Monica and I have sat in closed doors, we have sat and we've talked about issues, and I understand that there's issues with the FEDC executive director that does not include the city manager's office. When a board member or a city council member comes to my office, they get answers, they get the time that they need, and that's plain and simple. Please do not bring the city manager's office into an issue that the executive director is involved.
I don't know what the question was, but this is
I am requesting to be advised of that, because that is not an accurate statement. When people come into my office, whether they are on the council, whether they're on the board, whether they're citizens, if I'm available, I will answer their questions. If I cannot answer their questions and direct them to the executive director, it's because it's his responsibility to report to his board, sir.
Well, I can give you a specific, Andy. I've sent you numerous emails asking for details on information. I have not gotten a single response.
Sir, you have received more than your fair share of responses over and over.
Oh, there's only a fair share response, okay.
I think we've heard fair share before.
The issues of that, sir.
Councilor, there's a motion.
To bombard me in my office with requests, that's not true. You follow your, you specifically, and everybody else, the open record requests, and they are met.
Well, everything goes down to Mr. Pettis. Mr. Pettis gives them the okay, yes or no, because I know for a fact, businessman David Stroger, and I think it was Johnny Ray Nieto, was supposed to be appointed by somebody in this position, and all of a sudden they went to Mr. Pettis. Mr. Pettis said, we don't want none of it. And that's just my opinion again, but it's funny how people have to go out there and work hard and remove the bad apples. If I'm one of the bad apples, remove them. Thank you.
So the motion by Gomez, second by Castillo, to appoint Freddie Amato to the Floresville EEC. All in favor, say aye. Motion is, vote is 2-2. I support Freddie Amato.
Point of order.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Motion carries 3-2. Yes, ma'am.
I realize it's after the fact, but may I just have a short word to the
Yes,
council?
ma'am.
Thank you. Mayor and council.
Yes. No, Mike, we got no money with that one.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity, and I apologize that it's after the fact, except it was not really confirmed with me that I was up tonight to be
place in the whole world to live. It is a tremendous city with tremendous people in it. And I'm very honored that I was asked to serve on it, and I thank you so very much. I also want to thank John Guerrero exceptionally so for your confidence in me, the first nominating me, for supporting me, and just that you had confidence that I could help in some form or fashion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama. Petition by city for annexation of civic center property be filed with the meeting in the Nicholson City Secretary, Margaret Arasa. Before we go to that, we have citizens input. Mr. Miller?
I said if action was taken, Mr. Mayor, because this was a report area. If this comes to an action by the council, I'd like to speak to it. If there's no action to be taken, I don't want to speak to the issue.
Mr. Johnson?
Lou Rosenberg will address each of those issues with annexation, so from A through C. I will interject and add on item B, just for clarification.
Mr. Mayor, in quick order, since it's getting somewhat late, let me try to address these. These are properties that are in the city, have been in the city for some time. I've got the local government code here, and maybe I need to read this.
They're not in the city, but they're owned by the city. That's it.
In November of 2010, the council asked the recreation corridor to be the subject of annexation, and now our focus has gone off on a lot of other projects. But here's what the local government code says about the authority to annex. The municipality may annex an area only in its extraterritorial jurisdiction unless the municipality owns the area. And I'm going to address these very quickly. The city part, as you know, is Valley Park or the Almond Park, depending on whether it's on the south side of the river, or I mean the south side of the bridge, or the north side of the bridge. Those have been owned historically by the city for many, many years. And you own them as disjunctive or separate pieces of property. You use them on the 4th of July. You send your police officers and your fire officers out there. You treat them as part of the city for regulatory purposes, but you haven't annexed it. The 4A location where you have the civic center is in a similar situation where it was bought for the purpose of the civic center. It's technically owned, technically purchased, and technically the real estate was financed by the 4A corporation. But the 4A corporation, the 4B corporation, and the other parts of the local government code can't meet there because they're not annexed into the city. And you have city activities going on out there, and you have uniformed officers going on out there, but they're not in the city. So jurisdictionally, you have some issues with enforcement of your own codes and your own procedures on property that you own through either directly to parks or indirectly through 4A. So what I am suggesting to you is the process be commenced like any other piece of annexation by the entity involved. It doesn't have to be that way. You can go out and annex these directly since you own them through one of the city entities, and actually the city is the entity that supports and maintains these municipal development corporations. But the logical way would be, in my view, for the 4A corporation to petition to have their area annexed, for the Parks Foundation to request that area be annexed. Doesn't have to be that way. And for the 4B to request it be annexed for the area that it has out there that we call the L1. That's not on the agenda tonight. That's part of the problem that we have with planning and zoning out in that location. But in short order or long order, one way or another, we've got to eventually address the annexation in these areas. The other way you can annex is the San Antonio rule has been changed somewhat, so now you can annex because you own the far end and you own this end, and you can annex
The only concern that I've got, if I can interject on that one, is according to the interlocal agreement with the county that was signed, 2000 and, it's either 2004, 2009, I can't read the actual. It states on there that FEDC agrees that it will construct at its own cost and expense any and all streets or roadways within the confines of the above described property in accordance with the city plans and specifications, and they're doing that. But on the next line item 2, maintain all streets and roadways within the subject property and be solely and exclusively responsible for all maintenance and repairs. I understand from the Economic Development Corporation meetings that I've seen, there's been 2, which is the majority of them, 12 companies currently awaiting to start building out there, and this interlocal agreement is going to tie that entity into maintaining those roads year after year after year. And as we always do, we work with our subsidiaries. If that's something that the city's going to have to take on, I believe that we should annex that to be able to collect taxes to offset those costs.
Are we in compliance with that interlocal agreement with the county as of right now?
What is that?
Are we in compliance with the county as of right now? Or is there a follow-up on this one?
There's follow-up there. There was an actual TxDOT meeting today. Mr. Fair, was it yesterday?
It was today.
Today, in regards to their requirements, and that's in the process.
So the recommendations, Andy, are on the Civic Center property for the 4-H to have to take the lead on that?
Yes, just according to the news specification on the agenda items for those to move forward, so.
So does the council need to give a directive tonight? Is that the way we're going to take the action?
That's probably the easiest way to do it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Miller, you want to make some comments before we take action?
No, I think Mr. Rosenberg answered my questions. Thank you.
The recommendations by staff, council, is that we direct the 4A Corporation for annexation of the Civic Center property, the 4B Corporation for annexation of the Rancho Grande, and the Parks Foundation for annexation of the county park, that's essentially the river park. So we can have those 3 motions like that. Is there a motion?
For B and the park. That's right?
I'm sorry?
For A, for B and the park.
Yes, but 3 separate motions.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
members of the council, Ms. Nichols has a simple wording. You have a little form for the purposes of application, describe the real estate. In this case, you've got the form set up to where it be presented to the P&Z, treated like any other piece of real estate.
Okay. Motion?
Make a motion to petition by the city for annexation of Civic Center property to be filed with P&Z, City Nichols, and City Secretary Margaret Aranda.
That's for the 4A Corporation?
For A, correct?
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Motion by Gomez, second by Castillo, that we direct the 4A Corporation to petition the city for annexation of Civic Center property to be filed with the P&Z and City Secretary. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries 4-0. Item 5B.
Make a motion to petition by city of annexation of Rancho Grande Business Park property to be filed with P&Z, City Nichols, and City Secretary Margaret Aranda. Again, that's 4B.
Is that, is there a second to that? Motion by Gomez, second by Castillo, that the city give directive to the 4B Corporation to petition the city for annexation of Rancho Grande Business Park property to be filed with P&Z and City Secretary. All in favor say aye. Motion carries 4-0. Item 5C.
Got a question on the Park Foundation. How many people will sit on the foundation now?
We have
I know I have one out in the audience, but I'm just, 2?
That might be something we need to put on the next agenda to set up that board.
Yeah, I don't, she can send, kind of send together. Yeah, if we can do that, I'm gonna, what are you looking at as far as? Mr. Rosenberg?
We're short, council, because
hoping at the next regular council meeting, we can have some new members on board and move forward. We've already approved this, and then that'll be our first order of business.
Okay, let's do that. Motion table then?
That's fine.
Okay.
Motion table.
Motion to table by Gomez, is there a second? Second by Guerrero, all in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries 4-0. Item 5E, update on master plan development and recommendations. Before we get a report, citizens input, Mr. Miller?
Again, I'm going to reserve my comments until the council needs to take action.
Mayor, you missed one.
I missed one, I'm sorry. Okay, planning and zoning commission and permits. Inspection procedures at next P and Z.
Cindy?
Okay, if you can help me there, or,
Yes, ma'am?
I've been in a floodplain conference, and this is the first time I've seen this. Okay, what, Mr. Rosenberg and his office has submitted to my office is a very nice detailed checklist and application and procedure for new developments in the system. What we like to do in this office is, put all that together and present it to planning and zoning to get their feel of it, to get their approval. Unity being a growing, a very growing city, is a perfect example.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is mainly to tell you, P and Z is trying to get process standardized, permitting standardized, review paradigm is what you grew in the last 10 years, from something around 3,900 people to around 30,000. They had to pick up a new environment to grow and grow quickly, and so we patterned it after that because they've got a process to do after that. And the city's basically telling you tonight is, we'd like to have the council to be aware that we're trying to pick up something and make it work for you and with you, and you're choosing the process and making that design go. It's more of an information item than an action item.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 5E, update on master plan development with recommendations.
This is just an update, Mayor, also on the master plan that the council adopted and other areas that we're looking at as per the citizens' request.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, just to let you know, a copy of the sealed master plan that you've all received is on the website, it is on the city website for anybody to view. We're currently looking at our next budget year, we will do some discussions on budget meetings on some of the recommendations that are in our master plan. I just wanted to let everybody know that it is out there on our website, to be viewed.
Mr. Miller, you wanted to make some comments on 5E?
Yeah, only if there was council action, Mr. Mayor.
Is that on 5E? Okay, 5F, personnel chart presentation, by position and function only.
Another directive by the council at the evaluation period that I'm ending, and I know it will be available to the public also, is the adopted October 20th, 2011 chart that was in place, and the council displayed concerns about so many people reporting to the city manager in the process of duties that were assigned to me during my contractual obligation meetings. I revised that, and we have received an updated one. The colored one is the old one, the gray one is the new one. This one's right here, yes, sir. And it's stated on there, it's pending council approval. I have placed personnel in the 4 executive slots of Park and Recreation Director, Administrative Service Director, Public Utilities Director, and of course our Chief of Police remains our Chief of Police. No additional employees were hired for those positions. What the approve this. I've understood, as Councilman Guerrero had mentioned earlier, I had heard that the council was not going to approve my organizational chart, and I just wanted to make sure that we understood that that the bond issues for the parks and any bond issue there from is specific duties that are bestowed upon the council, the duties bestowed upon the city manager, as per 3.08, either the city council or any of its members shall direct the appointment of any person to the office by the city manager or by any of its subordinates, except for the purpose of inquiry. The city council and its members shall deal with the administrative services solely to the city manager, and neither the city council nor any member therefore shall give orders to any subordinate of the city manager publicly or privately. 26. Duties of the city manager, appoint and when necessary remove any employees of the city except otherwise provided by the charter, which I had mentioned earlier. And then under 7C, that all laws, provisions of the charter and acts of the city council subject to enforcement by the city manager by office, subject to the city manager's discretion and supervision are faithfully executed.
closed session, and did we discuss some of the issues that, of the organizational chart? That you are the city manager, we can trust that you can handle those duties. Someone asked the city council to pass the organizational chart that you present.
still haven't come up with the exact solution that will be satisfactory to all the neighbors. That makes great.
There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned. Yes.
Very quickly before we close the meeting, I want to present the council with a common petition presented to the city secretary.
Presented to Al.
This is presented on behalf of 383 registered voters of the city of Floresville. Petition's pretty self-explanatory, but we did file with the city secretary, and I'd like to create a copy.
Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned at 9:46.